Russia continues its war against dissenting views on the Crimean Peninsula. The number of politically motivated court cases has risen well above 100.
125 было задержаний.
125 detainments, 72 of the detainees were Crimean Tatars, 186 arrests, out of which 125 are arrests of Crimean Tatars.
According to activists, Crimean court works like a conveyor belt. People are arrested regardless of their age or state of health, and sometimes die. For example, on November 2017, a Russian FSB operation left an 83-year-old Crimean Tatar, Veji Kashka, and 4 respected members of the Crimean Tatar community, Asan Chapukh, Bekir Dedgermeji, Kazim Akhmetov, and Ruslan Trubach, range in age between 52 and 65. Dedgermeji slipped into a coma in the resuscitation department of the prison hospital.
They, including Ruslan Trubach, are very outraged with the conditions of their imprisonment and of where they're held right now. Kazim said that his kidneys are failing because the conditions there are unbearable.
Emil Kurbedinov is a prominent lawyer who defends political prisoners in court. In early December 2018, he himself needed legal protection. He was arrested and charged with propaganda of terrorism. The Russian-controlled court sentenced him to 5 days of arrest. While Kurbedinov was imprisoned, his office was vandalized, the windows were shattered. However, right after the lawyer was set free, he immediately returned to work. He is one of the lawyers defending Ukrainian sailors illegally captured by Russia.
Я, конечно, наблюдал удивительное для оккупированного Крыма явление, когда
I was a witness to an incredible event in the life of occupied and oppressed Crimea. People, volunteers, and activists living under occupation still find strength to help these sailors. The organized fundraising and the collection of clothes. They delivered it all to Moscow after the sailors were transferred to the Lefortovo pretrial detention center. This means that despite serious pressure from Russian authorities, there are still people in Crimea who are not afraid.
Russia is increasing its militarization of the peninsula. This fall, S-400 Growler surface-to-air systems were deployed in Crimea, and Russian authorities continue to illegally force Ukrainians in Crimea to serve in the military. Ukraine has filed a petition in the International Criminal Court to stop this.
By the time the petition to the International Criminal Court was filed, 30 sentences were passed regarding the cases of Crimean residents for evading the draft into the armed forces of Russia. 5 more were being considered in the court.
Yet, despite its militarization, Russian law enforcement officers could not prevent a tragedy in Kerch, which only fueled the police state. On October 17th, a student at Kerch College, Vladislav Roslyakov, committed a mass school shooting and then detonated a self-made bomb. 21 people were killed and 67 were injured. Initially, Russian authorities blamed Crimean Tatars before discovering an ethnic Russian was responsible for the incident. The Ukrainian prosecutor's office started its own investigation.
Why is it so important for us? Because they are citizens of Ukraine. And of course, when Ukrainian citizens are killed, whatever it happens, it is a tragedy.
Earlier in the summer, the U.S. State Department adopted the Crimean Declaration. In it, the United States government emphasized that Crimea is Ukrainian territory. Many other countries supported this declaration. UN General Assembly also passed a resolution condemning Russia's increasing military presence on the occupied Crimean Peninsula and surrounding area.
This is a resolution on the militarization of the Azov Sea by Russian Federation, and also there is an annual resolution that is devoted to the state of human rights in Crimea.
Despite all of this, Crimeans are still forced to defend their rights on their own, to speak up in an increasingly oppressive atmosphere, to face the threat of imprisonment, forced disappearance, and even death. Yet through it all, they continue to create citizen groups, pay court fines for each other, and support their compatriots during court sessions and, in general, resist. Reported by Imran Husseinov, UATV.